Um, yeah, excited for this week. We're playing a really good Marshall team. They've had leads in two of their losses. And they're a team that is much better than their record indicates, and they've played really fast and they play violent, and they have some big time playmakers. So it's going to be a challenge for us, especially going there. And but I know our team is looking forward to it. We've already had one good day of preparation and need to continue with that. So questions?
I know it doesn't matter in the big grand scheme of things, but this program receiving votes in the coaches poll for the top 25 for the first time ever in its history. Like, how does that land for you? I know it doesn't matter, but is there any semblance of, that's pretty cool?
I mean, I just found out. You just told me. So, no. I mean, to me, it's not a big. That's not a big thing. I mean, we're focused on going 1-0. We're focused on doing whatever we can to continue to stack great days of preparation together and see where that can lead us each and every week, and then ultimately at the end of the season we can kind of go back and evaluate what we did.
How important is balance to you when you're successful? Like, not to, or do you even entertain that thought?
What do you mean?
I mean, balance in terms of emotions. Like, it's one thing to handle a losing streak. Now you've won 4 straight, 4-1, you're getting attention. Do you try to temper that, or you just kind of go, all right, guys, let's enjoy this?
I mean, I think we have to be ourselves. I think being genuine is something that is kind of a hallmark of our program. The kids on the team are genuine. I think our coaches are. Hopefully people think I am. But when you approach things 1-0 or whatever, it resets you. And so you understand. I think the one thing that our team, our coaches have understood it, more experience. But I think our team is really understanding is just how important the preparation is, and that is what is allowing us to play well, which is thus allowing us to win games. So I think that's where the balance is coming from.
As you mentioned, this Marshall offense has seemed to really get rolling the last couple of weeks, led by dual threat quarterback Carlos Del Rio Wilson. What challenges does this offense present for you guys?
He's a really big time playmaker, tough to bring down, strong kid. He'll run physical, but he knows to get rid of the ball. He threw I think it's like a 31-yard touchdown on a check down because he stepped up in the pocket and dumped it. He does a nice job of climbing the pocket and doing those sort of things. He can run it, but he's a quarterback first, and he does some good things. And then he's got playmakers. They've got some very physical running backs that are tough to bring down. If you don't wrap them up, it's going to be a problem. And they've got some wide receivers that make plays, make contested catches. He threw a touchdown, at the end of the first half a couple weeks ago. I think there was like 24 seconds left. Really nice catch. Only his guy could make the play. And then he's got some, playmakers, that they try to get the ball to on a consistent basis and are very good after the catch. So. And then they got a tight end who seems like he's played there for 142 years, and he's a good player. He's got really soft hands, very physical, runs excellent routes. He does a nice job of using his skill set to maximize his playmakers.
Best start for you guys in a while. You're so focused in the immediate with the 1-0 mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it boils down to, or is there a trait that you've noticed at practice or in the locker room that this team has that maybe some years past did not?
I've talked about it a bunch. I think our team loves to play the game of football, and I think that that's a trait that seems kind of obvious, but it's not. And if you think about it within the greater scheme of life, there's a lot of people who, maybe have jobs that, they don't love. They're very good at them, but they may not love them. So I do think that our guys and how much they enjoy to play the game of football has been a huge factor.
Is that different from years past? You guys just have more guys this year that love to play?
I think we have more guys who love the game, and that love of the game transcends into the preparation, the love of the preparation of it as well. They don't just love Saturdays, they love all the other parts of it too. And that doesn't mean that they're going to, that they enjoy every part of practice, right? But it does mean that overall the preparation they enjoy, or they understand that the parts of preparation allow them to get to the parts that they love more. So I think they have an understanding of that.
You have a quarterback who leads the nation in yards per carry. I think he's fourth or something like that in yards per pass.
Mm-hmm.
Not to imply any level of satisfaction, but is that sort of what you envision for this offense? Is that you touched on it the other night? Is that just what he's supposed to do?
Well, no, I mean, I don't want it to come across like, he's playing very well, and he is very talented, not only with his arm, but with his legs, and it gives him, and that the ability for him to run has opened up some of the passing game, such as the play to Bull for 80 yards, if he's not a big runner, that play probably doesn't get off the ground, if he can't threaten them with his ability to run. But I also think that we've got more depth at playmaker across the board, and then our offensive line is doing an unbelievable job of covering people up and getting our playmakers into the secondary where then their God-given ability can start to take over. And then I think the coaching staff's done a nice job of doing that too, is finding ways to get them in space and utilize that. And then when they have been in space, they've taken advantage of it, right? I could get to, if I was playing quarterback for us, I could get to those same places that Colton was getting to, and then I would get tackled for a 5-yard gain, right? You understand what I'm saying? So there's the difference is his ability to, make people miss, but then run and do some things has been great.
You had some very successful plays the other night that were pretty simple, really, to look at.
Mm-hmm.
How much does that speak to what kind of tacticians your offensive staff have become?
Well, no, I think that's what coaching is, right? You want to make the plays as simple for your guys and as complicated to defend for them as possible, right? That's what a good football play is, or what a good defense is. Something that's simple for your guys, can allow them to play fast, allow them to play physical and violent, but is very difficult for the other team. And I think all three sides of the ball, we're doing a nice job of that right now. And it's allowing our guys to make fewer mental errors. It's allowing our guys to play faster. It's allowing them to play with more confidence because they don't have to, they're not thinking about reinventing the wheel. They're able to do similar tasks, similar skills that they've done each and every week.
Last 4 meetings with Marshall have been just some kind of crazy games, down to the wire. What is it about these two programs that when you guys link up, it seems to be a really tight contest?
Well, I think, traditionally they've had guys who love to play the game of football too. So I think it's always been a tough physical game. Obviously, the record speaks for itself. They've had my number in particular. So obviously I want to make sure that I want to go 1-0 this week, and I think that's the other key that I think needs, it's not going to going 1-0 this week isn't going to wipe out any of the other ones. It'll mean that we went 1-0 this week, and I think that's the important part that we got to go do is, and it'll it'll be a next phase for us because this is a different challenge of a team, and so I think that's important for us to be able to respond to this challenge next.
Kind of piggybacking off David, a lot of times when you watch college football nowadays, everyone's talking about marrying offensive concepts, kind of like what it looks like. Do you like play calling, sequencing, things like that? How important is that in the rhythm of your offense week to week?
It's important. It's a little bit. I think it's a little bit of the social media aspect of it, right? Because, Newt Rahne was sequencing plays too, or I should say his quarterback was, Gipper. But you're always thinking about that, right? But there's a rhythm to it, and it's you have to be in a rhythm, and part of the rhythm is execution, right? You can have a perfect play call, but if it's not executed properly, it makes it difficult to get to your next plays, make it get to the things you got to get to. On the flip side of it, you can call a horrible call, and if you've got a dude who just makes a play, look pretty smart, and your rhythm looks pretty good, right? So, I mean, it's one of those things where you need both, but it is important to execute in order to get into that rhythm. I think is a huge part of that people don't really talk about.
Coach, with Coach Huff leaving, coaching change there, any significant differences that you see between this Marshall team and the Marshall teams of the past several years?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of differences from a schematic standpoint and things like that. I mean, but they still play hard. I mean, Coach Gibson does a great job. I mean, those guys, this team plays very, very, very hard and plays very physical, and flies around on all sides of the ball. They're flying around. So and which is his personality, which I think is a sign of of a well coached team, because they're reflecting the personality of their coaching staff, and I think you can see that.
When you guys travel to Marshall, do you talk about the history of the program and what it's like to play in front of that passionate fan base?
Not really. I'm not. I've been in some programs where like maybe we've shown the stadium and what it'll look like, or we've done this and done that. I haven't done that. I mean, most of these guys play the video game. They've seen the stadium. I'm not trying to. I mean, I'm being serious. I think now most of them have seen it. They've played the game. They've seen the stadium. They know how it's going to be. And then in terms of the fan base, I think that's what's unique about this conference, particularly in the group of six, is all these fan bases are passionate and loud, and we get that probably more than any other conference in the country, or in the group of six in particular.
You were talking last week about the benefits of the injury report and how that kind of keeps people from asking certain questions. Have you encountered that? Has it come to that where guys have come to you and said, "Hey, somebody's leaning on me for information," that kind of thing?
I've definitely, guys have come to me and been like, yeah, people are hitting me up about this or hitting me up about that. That's definitely happened. But I think most of the time it's a lot more subtle than that. It's just somebody kind of asking, right? And I would tell you that, is it something that's been going on for 50 or 60 years? Yeah, of course, right? I mean, betting's been going on a long time. But it's a little bit more prevalent now because, now anybody can bet. Anybody with a phone can bet, right? Particularly in our state. Now they can't bet on us, but like anybody can bet. And I do think that, so it's a little bit more prevalent than it used to be. Just people being interested in what is going on. Not even necessarily going to use that information, but it's just part of their daily vernacular. Like they just like to know those sort of things. Where before, I don't think the average student, the average person, the average fan necessarily cared that much, But now, it's obviously a lot more prevalent. I mean, when we play a late game, and you're watching TV, every other ad is that, right? I mean, every other ad. So, I mean, that's, it's like either that or fast food or
Insurance?
Cars.
there's some insurance ones, a few cars, but there's a lot of stuff that's unhealthy for you, right? Betting, fast food, certain beverages on all sides, I mean, so yeah, it's a lot of unhealthy stuff. Yeah, but it's the stuff that fun too, though. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I like fast food. It's good.
As Naeem continues to pop on film and probably garner more attention defensively, is that something you're more aware of? How to maybe counter that? Like, how do you look at his sort of usage, or you just kind of keep doing what you're doing?
I think we got some other pretty good receivers. So if he's going to garner more attention, it sure is going to make it hard to cover some of our other people, cover our running backs, and defend our quarterback. So, no, I think that's one of the things that's really good with our offense right now is the ball's going where the ball's supposed to go. And some days you're going to have 3 touchdowns, and other days you're only going to have a couple catches because that's where the ball should have gone that day.
For as long as the connection between sports and gambling, especially in college, has been taboo, is it strange for you for it to be so overt and out in the open now? Just is it weird to talk about it, or did you have to just come to some sort of acceptance with that?
I think we needed to talk about it to make sure that everyone was aware and put it a little bit more out in the open. I think that the hush part of it was the part that was making it a problem. Does that make sense? I think talking about it, making sure our guys understood what it was and all those sort of things is what's helping. Making sure that guys understand the issues and guys understand the possible problems, the possible consequences they can have in their career and those sort of things.
And what do you do on that front?
We talk about it a bunch. I mean, I'll talk about it in preseason, but if anything pops up, guys get suspended or whatever, I'll put it up on the PowerPoint and we'll talk about it and how, hey, look at these guys can't play anymore.
Like at other programs.
Yeah. And those sort of things. So anytime we got an opportunity, I mean, it's much like other things that plague 18 to 23-year-old young men. I mean, anytime there's things that involve any other issues that can plague them, we show them that too, so that they can just remind themselves that they have a lot of things in front of them, a lot of great opportunities in their life, and to make sure they make good choices not to blow it.
You talked about disguising plays on offense. Oftentimes we see a play on Saturday, following week we see it Sunday in the NFL, the same play. Do you guys get the opportunity in season to kind of view other teams and see that kind of stuff?
I mean, you'll view other teams. Obviously, the internet is helpful for that because the really cool stuff pops up all the time. There's times you're kicking yourself because maybe there's a play that's really cool that you've practiced a bunch and you haven't called it yet, and you're like, darn it, one of those things. But you're still gonna. I think when you get in trouble is when you look at those and you're like, oh, we got to put that in. No, it's got to fit you, And I think that's one thing we're doing a really good job of right now in our coaching staff is the new additions that we may have on a weekly basis, which are small. They fit us really well. And so it's something that the kids can buy into and something that is easily coached.
Anything else for Coach?
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Opinion, 7th-year center, transfer from Fordham, Ryan Joyce. Craig, have at it.
All right, Ryan, let me get my camera here. Well, talk to me about the O-line then, specifically how this group is playing right now and you offensively as a whole.
I think it's a great group of guys that are challenged by Coach Hutt and the guys in the room to just work harder and improve each day, each practice, each week. And we're excited to keep building on what we've had and continue to improve.
Aaron asked Kris and Coach the same thing. Is there a trait in this locker room that kind of you think is leading to this success, just beyond the 1-0 process, or do you think it's the process itself?
I think it is the process itself. I think across the team we have guys that are working to get better each day, like I just said, and every week. While we have had success, there's also plenty of areas we can continue to improve on and play better football.
Early in the preseason, Coach Rahne specifically mentioned he enjoyed your conversations with you, specifically just talking about football and plays, et cetera. I'm assuming the feeling's mutual.
Absolutely, yep.
I've heard coaches in the past talk about an offensive line in particular playing as a unit, as a one, instead of individuals. Do you feel like this line has sort of morphed into that at this point?
100%. I think we have a lot of guys with experience, and we've come together, throughout the spring and camp and into this season as guys with a lot of trust with each other. And while we do communicate every play, every snap on the field, off the field, we're building that trust to where we know what we're going to do and how we're going to handle certain situations, kind of without even having to talk to each other.
What are your thoughts about going into Huntington, this environment this weekend?
I'm excited. Each week, it's a new challenge. It's another opportunity to execute and do our 111th and compete at a high level.
I think we talked about it in the preseason, but is blocking for a guy like Colton, is he almost like a human second chance? In that, if you miss a block, he still might get away from the guy.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice resource to have back there where, he can use his legs to kind of extend plays and create new opportunities for us.
How impressed are you with this start from your perspective?
I'm impressed. I know we're an experienced group that's worked hard and prepared all season. So I think to a degree it's the expectation. But I think there's again a lot of areas we can keep improving on and play better football.
You guys don't pay attention to the outside noise, I realize, but you're getting votes in the poll for the first time ever nationally. Does that signify anything? I mean, is it about this group?
Well, I don't think necessarily, no. I think we're just focused on what we have to do. Obviously, there's always going to be outside noise, good, bad, indifferent. But I think just staying kind of in our own circle and just keeping our head down and working, it's led us to where we are, and I think could continue us on that path.
You're almost halfway through here. Are you glad you came here?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
You're a very experienced guy coming from the FCS to the FBS. Has there been anything that surprised you to this point so far?
I think the biggest thing is just everybody's talented. Every group we've seen, every group we've faced, has had talented guys. Whether their success reflects that or not, I think everyone we have played and everyone we will play has a lot of talent and plays hard, and that's just something we have to prepare for every week.
Anything else for Ryan? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Fifth year senior defensive end, Kris Trinidad. Greg, since you're here back-to-back weeks, and we've never had that happen before, why don't you start with that?
Yeah, got it. Hey, Kris, man, just in terms of the momentum of this team and everything rolling, we know it's 1-0, but what is the confidence like amongst this group?
Coach Ryan does a good job of letting us know that confidence comes from preparation. And I really feel like, obviously, confidence will be really high right now because we prepare really, really hard. We come out and we focus on everything that we got to do. We go hard at it.
Kris, you guys receiving votes in the poll for the first time ever in program history. Obviously, that's all outside noise, and I understand. But is there a significance to that, just in terms of how far this program has come?
From a guy that's been here, at the top and bottom, obviously it feels good and it's boosts the morale a little bit, but that's not the kind of things that we value as a program. We're more so on the finding the reward in the process,
When I asked Coach Rahne this too, you guys 1-0 mentality and kind of the process has been the same year after year since you've been here. But is there a trait about this team that's led to this start, that's led to this more success that you notice in the locker room, on the field, that maybe wasn't here in the past year?
Yeah, like I said before, grit. I feel like a lot of guys, across the team can agree with me. This team has a lot of grit and push to do things. We're never satisfied. Like even after a great win on Saturday, we came out Sunday, thinking about how can we get better.
You talk about the grit. The guys immediately behind you in that linebacker room look a lot different today than I think most expected before the season, but they've stepped up and have that next man up mentality. Can you tell us a little bit about that group?
To be honest, Coach Sala does a good job of setting the standard for that position group, and it's just like a blueprint that has to be followed, and guys are, more than willing to step up and do the right thing. So, and it's been like that since the preseason.
You've seen what Colton's doing this year, throwing and running. As somebody who practices against him, can you see why he's had so much success?
Definitely, that's a hard guy to defend, and to be honest, he got a lot of good guys up front and on the edges to help him out with that as well. The O-line doing outstanding things, probably one of the best O-line groups I've gone against since I've been here. So, and it's really fun to see.
Is it sort of maddening for a defense when you've got guys covered and, you got guys getting in the backfield and then there he goes?
It's a very difficult thing to deal with.
Does he trash talk you guys in practice?
Of course, man. We trash talking back too, though. But it's real fun.
This Marshall offense has kind of gotten rolling in the last couple of weeks, led by their dual threat quarterback, Carlos Del Rio Wilson. What kind of challenges does the Marshall offense present to you guys?
We got a lot of big guys up front. You know, like you said, he got a mobile quarterback, but you know, it's a good practice. We got good practice for it as well. You know, going against our offense. You know, all camp, all season, everything like that. So we should be able to, you know, step on it.
You excited to go into this environment, Huntington, and just kind of crazy fan base? I think you guys are 1-9 all time. Like, what's the mood going into this environment?
Definitely, you know, come out on top. Really excited for it as well. Like you said, you know, defense, we got a lot of grit as well. So we're really looking forward to go to war with these guys, man.
Anything else for Kris?
Some of the freshmen have stepped up, you know, recently. And, you know, Hunter Malecki, Jackson Forrest. What have you seen from those guys in terms of their development? You know, from when they came last January, I guess, to today.
I mean, yeah, man, them guys. I talked about this a long time ago. Them guys came in ready to go, man, and it's actually exciting to see. You know, like I told guys earlier, man, they come in, they were immediately on it, sponges, coming up to me every day, Trinidad, what can I do for this? What can I do for that? You know, and I just love to see it. You know, it's like you know, Malecki, he's been balling. So is Jackson. And it's like, you know, it was little instances where they were almost there or right there. We watch it on film, you know, and like, you know, last Saturdays, you know, it really showed up. And I was, you know, ecstatic for them guys, man. It was big time football, man.
As one of the vets on this team, you've seen it all. How satisfying is it to be in this place?
I mean, yeah, definitely feels great. My first time, I feel like my career being like this. But you know, just trying to take it day by day, play by play, you know, and that starts with practice and how we prepare, come out.
Is it more fun to come to practice now?
I mean, it's always fun for me, but I mean, definitely, you know, spirits are high, guys are hungry and starving to get better. You know, that makes the group a lot better.
Anything else for Kris? All right.
Thank you.
guys.
All right, thank y'all, man.